Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
Yeah. If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 132 of the Massenomics podcast. Your good old hosts are here again. I'm here, Tanner, and Tommy, you're here?
I am very much here.
All right, we're back again. Do you smell anything in here today?
Is this a rock segue?
Yes, do you smell what he's cooking?
I can only imagine.
No, what I'm smelling is Kaz coffee.
Is that what that smell is?
Yeah, and
that's just tickling my little nose right now.
We got this Kaz coffee before the last episode, and it sat over here to the side, and
we got too caught up in the moment, so we didn't get to discuss this. So.
We forgot to then, but so we will now. And really though, talking about the smell of it, like it smells so good.
It does. Like if you like the smell of coffee,
yeah,
you're already gonna like Kaz coffee.
The smell of it is so good though.
And before you even get to the smell, the packaging is pretty cool too.
Yes, the packaging is very cool. So Kaz sent us this to try it out. And one funny story about this, I might have told you this. I think I did. I can't remember. But Cale Beck had posted on his Instagram story a picture that he had Kaz coffee, and I had literally just gone to my mailbox and got mine out of the mailbox. And I sent him a picture and said, "Hey, twins," and he said something, and then he eventually said, "Did you ever think in your life that Bill Kazmaier would send you some coffee in the mail?"
Which is a real, like, of all the things he could ever send you, like, yeah, he's going to send me coffee.
Yeah. So, and then when just reading those words and looking at them written out, it just made me laugh. Like, it was just, it's just a really funny thing. But, so Kaz is making coffee now. And this one's called his conventional roast, and you suppose that's a play
as opposed to his sumo.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think that is a play on the
I
deadlift
would think
fun?
It's got to be something. So does he have a website for this or anything yet?
Yeah, so it's right on here, www.kazcoffee.com.
Should we see what other
what other
fine offerings he has for us?
And I have tried this too, so I'll be able to give you my not all that educated coffee review.
Well, right off the bat, he's got some search engine work to do because Kaz Coffee and Kaz Cafe has come up a lot.
Oh.
Maybe we'll try Bill.
Yeah.
Well, now we got Bill Kazmaier Wikipedia.
So he needs.
Is the website on there?
Yeah, www.kazcoffee.
Oh, with a K.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah.
Kaz, you branding genius.
We'll see what.
All right, it's loading up.
Ooh,
Kaz Coffee.
It's a nice looking website off the bat too.
It is looking good.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
See what's in the shop.
Let's see what we got.
And like I said, this is the conventional, and it was I guess you'd call it fresh roasted. It's got the date marked right on the package of the date that it was roasted, and this came into the mail. I think it was 2 days after the date on the package that it was roasted.
Pretty good.
So it was
That's dedication to quality right there. So it looks like your options are the conventional for $10, the conventional subscription, which is $9 a month. So I'm guessing you just get one of those sent to you once a month. There's also a Jailhouse Strong brew. Let's see if anything special about that.
So that must be a collaboration with
incorporating the Jailhouse Strong approach, individual over the institution. Kaz took Colombian Excelso beans from the highest elevation in the Nariño region and roasted to your choice of minimum or maximum security.
I can picture Kaz in the where was that? What region was that?
in the Narino region.
Yeah, I can picture him them, and it says he took Colombian Excelso
he's
beans.
just
I
in the
bet he
mountains
literally, and
just-
he's like, "Give me those beans."
Yeah, just
give me those. I'm gonna
just
take them.
hiking his way through, looking for the finest beans. There also is a conceive, believe, achieve poster.
And that is what it says on its coffee package too. Here, conceive, believe, achieve. That was kind
And
of
you got a
his
tumbler
motto.
too. So let's see what they say about his coffee, because
Yeah.
the package doesn't tell you a whole lot.
No.
Conventional roast Colombian Excelso beans from the highest elevations in the It's the same thing. Roasted to
Oh.
full city, medium dark.
So that's the difference.
Conventional only. Take your sumo elsewhere.
Oh,
Full city roast, a balanced mixture and flavor between the individual origin of the coffee and the taste of the roasting process.
nice.
Oh, you can get whole bean or ground.
Okay.
So if you like to grind your own beans,
Yep,
if you're that
yep.
type of person.
Yep. And this is ground already. I think. I didn't
Jan-
actually. Wasn't the one that made it.
No one's left a review here yet. You could be the one to
Ooh.
leave the first review.
God, every time I get close to the package, it makes
You
you
just-
just want to actually
Just
eat the
get
coffee.
in there head
Yeah.
first and
Yeah. So I did try it this weekend too.
yeah. So what's the taste review?
It was good. I drink coffee maybe like once a day, but I'm not a coffee. I
Like
drink
you're,
whatever random old
You're kind of
coffees
going
at
for
work.
the benefits of
Yeah,
coffee. Like
yeah.
I want something that's maybe warm and has some
Hot-
caffeine.
Yes, exactly. That's why I drink coffee. But I would say this for sure. I drink coffee every day at work, so I drink whatever's made in the pot.
Which is
at
probably
work.
only the finest beans.
Yeah, probably only the worst. And this to me was noticeably better than that.
Was it?
Yes. So I have a very unrefined palate, but I could tell that this was better than that.
It was a step up.
Yeah,
There was some more flavors happening.
Yes, I would say it was probably fairly mild.
Yeah.
You know, and it does say that in the
Yeah,
in
what
its
it
description. I
tells
suppose if you
you,
wanted something stronger, you'd go with the jailhouse
yeah,
strong
it's
one.
your medium dark. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say that's pretty
yeah,
middle of the road.
It wasn't very powerful to me. It tasted pretty mild. Like that was the one word as I was drinking it. I was like, it tastes good, and it tastes pretty mild to me. Because I like my coffee dark.
Yeah.
You know,
You don't put like sugar in.
No,
And
no, I don't put
see,
anything in.
I've never been a big fan of that either.
No. But yeah, it was good. The smell is still better than the taste. The
Well,
smell of it in the package is
Which that's how almost all coffee goes. The
Right.
smell, like I think 90% of the coffee experience is the smell.
Is the smell, yeah. But I liked it, and I don't know how much this makes. I don't even know how much is in here, but we had a pot, and there's still a lot in this bag.
Yeah. So I'm curious now because I'm wondering, is coffee like the thing that people are getting into? Well, you don't really have to wonder. Like coffee is kind of a popular thing for people to get
Yeah.
into because doesn't Mark Bell, he has a coffee blend, doesn't he?
I think he does too.
He does too. I saw just yesterday on Instagram, Corn Coffee, the band Corn, has their own coffee too. So
well,
it's
obviously.
kinda, I mean, you got to
what
strike.
what a perfect fit. You take
Yeah, you know.
corn and coffee.
People said it tasted like Woodstock '99. So maybe we need a coffee blend.
That's true.
If you guys think we need a coffee blend, maybe hit us up and we'll head to the Narino region, make a little video about it, take you guys on a little adventure
I
while we
think,
pick out the finest beans.
Well, I think if nothing else, we could come up with good descriptions to put in on
Oh,
the
we could
website.
rock the description game.
That would be our strong suit.
Like convention only, take your sumo elsewhere. We'd be just getting started.
Yeah,
there.
that would be that would be just one of many puns that we could come up with our own coffee brand.
Well, we'll put it on the list. We'll see
Yep.
what happens.
So package A, smell A plus, and taste. I don't know. I guess A. I guess it was good.
Not the best person.
Yeah, I guess good. So that's Kaz
So
coffee.
that sounds like a good thumbs up over here.
Yep, it was for me. That's for sure.
Cool.
So thank you, Kaz. Thank you for your coffee.
Yeah. I always appreciate.
Wasn't expecting to get the message from you, Kaz, that you wanted to send us some, but actually, Kaz said he was doing it in a thanks to the Arnold interviews.
Oh,
we've
is that what
done
it
for-
was?
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting that
Well,
he.
did you tell him
even
don't read
remem-
the comments lately because
everyone's bashing you in favor of Paul Anderson
people are
and
really
Samson.
people really love Paul Anderson, even though they've almost never seen him do anything. They just love what they've heard about him.
It's really easy to like someone's accomplishments when you can just kind of
Kaz,
make
take
them up
your recordings of all your lifts and get that crap out of here. Well, should we hop into more serious things now?
Yeah, I mean, that's about enough joking around for one day.
Yeah,
if you
let's
ask
get
me.
to the heart of the matter
The
here.
nuts and bolts. So, what is our main topic of the day here?
Well, in true Massenomics fashion, this is speculation again.
That's,
But the main, kind of the thing that's got people going just in the last 24, 48 hours has been proposed IPF changes. And there's some, there's a whole list of things. We'll go over some of the smaller things, but I mean, it ranges from tiny little things that, yeah, who cares, whatever, to
Right.
things that will fundamentally change how a lot of people lift, or some of them would potentially change how everyone lifts even.
right.
So yeah, there's some really, really interesting things in here. Like we said, these are all proposed. I'm not the best at following the inner workings of how the IPF
Their process.
because it's such like a government body of rules and regulations and
Red tape.
committees and
stuff.
so much stuff. But
What's the one thing that did change? Is going to change though? You said that you were
so
telling me this.
well,
one.
we'll get to that.
Okay,
We'll get to that
okay.
one. But yeah, so all these are kind of just proposed, and it
Okay.
sounds like I don't know if it's every few years or how it works for sure, but they must take suggestions from every country. Like countries can submit suggestions for potential changes they would like to see, and I'm assuming it goes to a vote at that point. So that's why you'll hear some kind of off the wall things that were suggested. But
You think maybe like every country has a representative or something like that, and they
well,
all-
just because this thing's so political,
Yeah.
I would imagine that the boards in these countries they probably have some type of representative, but they, just like our country, they probably tell their representative what they're supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they just let their guy go in and just wing it.
Right.
With how much money is on the line for some of these people and
Right.
all that. But let's just we'll kind of run all over the list here, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll give right away what if you think it's good
Yeah,
or bad,
that's-
and then we'll
yeah.
dive in on it. So
Yeah.
first one, this is something we have talked about recently. Add a female class around 95 or 96 kilos.
Yep. And what in pounds then we're talking to?
So it's just about 200.
Yeah, 200.
Yeah, right in there.
And right now they're at 185. So it's just adding a heavier class. which is
just
something
yeah,
we're
just a step up
Yeah,
from
yeah.
instead of, because right now what's it like 185 plus?
Yep,
Which is a
yep.
huge range. We've talked
Right,
about that. So
right.
good or bad, Tanner? What do you think?
I would.
And also adding this would give them equal number of weight classes for men and women, because
Yeah.
women are down one weight class
Right.
right now.
I think it's good and bad, and we literally wrote an article on this literally exact thing, and we wrote an article from the standpoint of laying out the facts and then kind of letting people make their own decision of whether it's good and bad. And even after writing it, my opinion was kind of both. The way I think it's good is it makes the women and the men equal from both the number of classes that they have to compete in, and also the trend that we looked at where the gets to be fewer and fewer competitors across every class, because right now there's a spike up for the women in that last class.
Yep.
So if I believe if you added that last class, it would make the trend look much more similar to what the men's
Yeah.
curve is like. So that's the positive of it. But the negative, I think, is that just in general, there's too many classes probably as it is. Like there's too many divisions, and
It's just split so much
yeah,
already.
right,
yeah.
right. But also at a full world level, like
And-
an
and
IPF
that's-
level, a world class level, I'm okay with there being multiple classes in
Mm-hmm.
that case. It's more of a local issue, I think, when there's
Yeah,
too
and that's
many.
kind of just gonna, I think, be the nature of the beast, because
Yeah.
once you open it up to like different weight classes at
Yeah,
world,
that doesn't
like
work
it
for even
gets
like
so-
qualifying into it, and yeah, that's not really an option. But I could see the argument for there just being too many classes as it is, and why don't add one for the women, take one away for the men, or something like that, you know?
And so it looks like, and then I could be completely wrong on this, but based off of what I'm reading here, it looks like that suggestion was submitted by the USAPL, and part of their reasoning for it is ties this whole thing back to the Olympics and getting into the Olympics.
Yep.
And they said equal opportunity for women is a major concern for the IOC.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have equal classes right off the bat, you're showing you're not equal.
Yep.
And they also bring it up that Title IX in America, Title IX basically says, like, when it comes to, it's not just sports, is it everything?
Maybe it's. I always equate it to sports in my mind. Like in school, that's what I was always thinking. But it's
Actually,
probably
right
all
here, Title
activities,
IX.
yeah.
Title IX is stated: no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So I would assume that's just any kind of like state school or anything like that. So they said already by Title IX specifications they are in violation, and so with that they're saying it makes it hard for them to be like a college sport and to be accepted, which I mean that kind of does make sense. It does go back to show that kind of does tie into the whole like money government thing of this whole thing. It's just
right.
I don't know, like it. So
what's your final answer? Should they do it or should they not
so
do
alternatives here though would be maybe, and this is what makes it so hard, because they could just distribute the weight classes better, which would kind of mean either shaking up some or all of them.
And then shaking up the records though.
The shaking up the records, which is always a big deal. I think because what they do that 5-6 years ago. Or if equality is the name of the game, they could remove a men's class. And I have seen suggestions, someone bring up the idea of like maybe remove the smallest men's class, which is like,
if I had to pick one to remove, that's what I would think.
I don't know, what is it, like 120 something or
is there even like a 112?
Maybe it's really small. So that's an idea. Because I've also seen that, okay, you add another women's class, you could make an argument for another men's class, because after 275, like
264,
or 264, just the sky's the limit there.
Right. Ray Williams weighs 400 pounds. I mean that's.
I think I'm gonna go. I think it's good. I think women need another class. It just seems like, especially with how like popular the sport's becoming, like to say that after what's it like 182 pounds or 184 or whatever it is, that you're just in no limit territory.
Right. 185
like
is not. I don't feel like 185 is that heavy for even a
muscular I mean, if you're close to 6 feet tall as a woman and have muscle, 185, you're not that big.
And I just like the idea of them being the equal number of classes between the two. It seems like they should be.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that one.
No.
Next one, have minimum totals for internationals. I guess I didn't know this, but apparently to compete at international meets, there's not like minimum totals.
But so that must be the issue. There's countries that aren't
filling out. Which I think is
like
what
that would
is.
never be an issue for the USAPL.
No,
or
where
probably
there's 100 people in a flight or whatever.
So to me, I don't even care really. Like
it doesn't really matter. It affects almost no. All it affects is the people from the smallest participating countries.
I guess I would say, if I had to pick, I'd say go ahead and do it. Like, I mean,
sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with making a world level competition more competitive.
Right.
Here we'll get this one is maybe one of the most controversial ones, and it's the knee sleeve, the argument around knee sleeves, and so I didn't know where this.
What's the basis?
Well, I was doing a little research what this one stemmed through. I didn't know the lengths that people were going to with knee sleeves. Like I had heard things about people using. Like plastic bags to help knee sleeves go on easier, and having a team of people to put them on. But allegedly people have caught, teams and lifters have caught other people like the last few years going to meets with a hairdryer and warming up their knee sleeve. Warming up their knee sleeves as much, getting the smallest knee sleeve you could possibly get, warming it up so it expands as much as possible, and then just fighting as hard as you can to get that thing on. So once it's on, like you're definitely getting like some supportive qualities out of it. And then going and lifting, and if it gives you 15, 20 pounds, like that's a big deal. And so the issue here is like trying to fight people that are doing that. And the solution, I'm not sure I agree with. The solution is pulling down your knee sleeves right before you step up to the platform, and then also. Pulling your knee sleeves down right before you go on the platform and then back up to show that they're loose enough that you can do it by yourself. And that just seems like the last thing you'd want to be doing before setting up for a squat.
Like that. Because just anyone that's competed in a meet before, like that would be that.
Have you ever put your knee sleeves on not sitting down?
No.
So that would be like, is there going to be a chair to like put them on, or do you lay on the floor to do it? Like
just like when you walk out, when you go from the warm up room to the platform, you are so beyond doing stuff like that. Like mentally, it would switch up the whole dynamic of the squat to me
It would
because
suck. Well, then you only have a minute, so your name gets called.
Yeah.
You literally have to be like they say your name. You got to be walking out to get those knee sleeves down and up, and you do have to get like loose fitting knee sleeves at that
Yeah.
point. Like,
My-
'cause I don't think it's whatever. I mean, people will say, "Oh, raw is pure raw, whatever."
Yeah.
But okay, your knee sleeves are a little snug. You got to work a little bit to put them on. No big deal. That's how mine are. You fold down the top, fold up the bottom, pull them up. They go on no problem.
Right.
But you start adding in sweat, hair, this stuff into get a little bit of a pump going. Maybe your calf grows a little bit. I don't know. And all of a sudden, it's a totally different ball game moving those things around. I've never even attempted to put my knee sleeves on when I'm sweaty because in my head it just would be a losing battle.
I'm not in favor of that at all. I guess I'd rather people game the knee sleeves and do what they can to get those super tight ones than throw in that. If that's the only possible solution, I'd go without solving the problem. I guess
At that point, it almost seems like do your warm ups and just take your knee sleeves off and not even worry about it anymore.
Right.
Which
I think the better time to handle it is through equipment check-ins. I think and you're checking in equipment.
Or even you could be randomly checked at any time in the back room.
Right.
Like if someone suspects something, they can go over and
Yeah.
check them and say, all right, move them around a little bit.
Right.
Like maybe they don't need to, before your last warm-up, go and say, rip those down right now.
Right.
But it seems like it could be handled somewhat responsibly.
Right. I don't like that.
Besides just throwing this whole blanket thing on it. So that was one of the bigger ones. Also thrown out there was the idea that the Wilks coefficient, and I think this one I get the impression is like a done deal.
Okay.
Is that the Wilks coefficient will be going away next year, and replaced. Maybe they'll come up with some fancy name, but it looked like what was just the name being used right now. It will be the IPF coefficient.
Did they say anything about what the difference would be? Not really necessarily. Just
Other than the fact that they feel Wilks is outdated, which I've heard a lot of people say that. Because I don't know, what's it been around 15 years or something?
yeah, I don't know even.
Something like that.
yeah.
And I guess at the time that was based on current data that Robert Wilks had available to him. Well,
now
that's
they need
probably
yeah.
completely changed.
Right. And I've seen Open Powerlifting make the comment before that someone could use their data and come up with a much better.
It's the biggest pool of data.
Right.
I mean, even just, okay, you don't want to include everyone? Okay, just hit the IPF button. Just
Yep.
take those ones if that's what you are
Yep.
concerned about. But yeah, it seems like in there's never been a resource better than that to have someone tackle this and come up with it.
Right.
But that'll be interesting because for a lot of people, their Wilks is a big deal to them.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine your Wilks is or your score, whatever they call that, is going to change considerably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think if you were all of a sudden placing in, making a run for best lifter at a meet, that all of a sudden you're going to be middle of the pack.
Right.
I still think you're going to be in contention for best lifter.
Yeah.
You might shift a place or two, but probably nothing too radical there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, comparing across the same group of people, it's probably going to place you in a similar spot, anyways. But what I think something they could do in order to make it so if they come up with a new one that it won't become obsolete, is that built into the equation, it pulls something as far as current data.
It almost seems like the number almost needs a way to regulate itself.
Right. That's what I think, based off of because this data is going to be available.
It's basing itself off of historical data.
Right.
So do we just say this snapshot in time right now is the most accurate time for making something?
Right.
Or who knows? It seems hard to believe, but in 10 years, will powerlifting be twice as popular as it is right now?
Right.
Because all of a sudden now you have twice as many people in the pool to statistically
yeah, and a lot of real life, insurance is a big thing that uses that. They use what's called an Olympic average, where they'll take
is
the
it
last.
IOC approved?
I don't know. They'll take. Well, I don't know. Not that Olympic. Maybe that is what. Maybe it is what it comes from because it's like figure skating. I think they say there's 5 scores. They immediately drop off the worst and the best, and then they average the remaining. So in the case of powerlifting, we look at the last 5 years to base the data against. You throw out the highest and the lowest, whichever 2 years those are, and then you just look at those.
Okay.
Those
so that's how insurance does it too.
That's how some forms of insurance work that I've worked with before. But I just think something like that could work if you're looking at if and it's always adjusting. So the scale, then the next year the number moves to the most recent 5 years, and it's just always. So you're just always looking at the last, a more current current numbers to base it off of.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Is that like unless someone really does come up with the perfect equation, it almost seems like it kind of has to be a living, breathing thing a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's gonna get some people butthurt because you just can't compare
Right. It's not
everything. But I don't know if that's ever going to exist.
Right. Or you kind of can, relatively speaking, it could be a better comparison. It's not as good of a comparison as if you did something 10 years ago versus how
Or what,
I did
what
something
I'm doing
10
right
years
now
later
versus what someone's doing in 30 years.
Right. But in a way, it's kind of a better comparison because it would be showing how you're doing relative to everyone else in that era.
Yeah.
So they could make a case that it could be a better comparison that way too.
So that is one of the more interesting ones. It sounds like it's going through. I thought it said they have like some researchers or a research team working on it in Germany at a university. I don't know. Hopefully they're really smart math sciencey people and they come up with something good. But
do you think they're probably using some of Open Powerlifting's data?
It seems really dumb that
if they weren't. Yeah.
I mean, the IPF does a pretty good job of keeping their database up to date too.
Yeah.
Over the last several years, I think kind of before like pre-2012 or whatever. I think they kind of pretend that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But even that, 2012 on is kind of a different game historically than pre-2012.
For sure.
At least, I mean, there's still the outliers, but as a whole, we've talked about it with Open Powerlifting stats the week before that. Just as a whole, it's pushing forward so far.
Yeah, so far and so fast.
Next point, and this is also one that will get a lot of people upset. This is probably the outside of the knee sleeves, the biggest one that's just like, how the hell do you even do it?
Yeah.
Would be the bench. And so regarding bench, there was a few different things, but the one that really stands out is adding the words as flat as possible to the rule book and then no feet on the bench. So basically they're trying to say that when you go to set up on the bench, right now you will see some people in every meet actually put their feet, stand their feet up on the end of the bench and then really use that leverage to drive their shoulders in.
Yep.
And then from there, they can really work this crazy arch. So one, saying that feet are no longer allowed on the bench. And then regarding the arch, adding the rules, I don't know if it's just adding the words as flat as possible. So regarding your back or your setup, just being as flat as possible.
I mean, that's an enormous thing for some people, though.
For some people that would be huge. But again, I don't know how you enforce rules that are that vague.
Right, as flat as possible.
That's just like saying next year, I hope business goes as good as possible.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
I mean, if they're going to
I
do
want to
that,
get as strong as possible.
Right. Doesn't the rule have to be from butt to shoulder blades? Will all be touching the bench? I mean, wouldn't it have to be something like that?
But even then, that's never going to be possible either because some of these guys and girls, they're so muscular, their butt is never going to allow their lower back
to touch.
I mean, they're always going to have to be in this curled up ball to even get contact. And then at that point, their shoulders aren't touching.
Right.
So I have no idea how they would enforce that one. And then also with that, your feet wouldn't be able to touch underneath the bench, which
they wouldn't be able to touch each other
underneath the bench, which I'm sure there's a couple people in the world that do that. There can't be many though.
I can't. And is that an advantage if you do that?
I don't know. Especially when you have to keep your heels down too.
Right.
Maybe if you don't have to keep your heels down, okay, maybe your feet touching isn't as big, but feet touching and your heels down, that seems really hard to do.
I agree.
So I don't think that one can affect as many people, but I don't know. The standing on the edge of the bench, I think the idea behind it is equipment preservation. I don't know. It just seems,
you mean the what?
Protecting the bench.
But for what? If putting your
not standing on the end of the bench because it wears out the pad.
That.
I think that was kind of the reasoning behind it.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I think that's.
It which just makes no sense at all.
Yeah, but there would be. I mean, that would completely change that lift for a lot of people.
Reason to avoid damage to the surface of the bench.
No, that's idiotic to me.
Seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you talking about removing the arch, if you did that though, that would just completely change the way some people perform that lift. You'd have to prepare for some people to.
Some people would go through 25 to 40% decreases.
Oh
in their bench.
yeah.
Like all of a sudden go from being like top level competitors to top level competitors with just a slightly above average bench.
Yeah, and some people that maybe never have been able to get into a good arch position would
Be
love it.
like,
They'd be
"Hell
like,
yeah.
come
Bring
back
it
down to my
on."
level. Yeah.
So I don't see how that could ever go through.
Yeah.
And it'd be neither of us are really big archers, so it
No.
wouldn't really change us much. But
No.
I have no clue. You would absolutely get judges at meets that are just going to call everything.
Right.
I mean, we were at a meet not long ago where 9 out of 10 deadlifts literally got a red light from a judge for not being locked out properly, which is the weirdest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're always going to get like people that are like that, and so that just seems like a slippery slope. A little
Yeah, I agree.
Another rule: if you bomb on a lift, you don't continue to next discipline at internationals. I mean
That's fine.
that's
Don't
fine
bomb.
with me.
Don't.
I think the
don't
idea there
overshoot your-
was like because people could still go on. Let's say you bomb
Set
out
a-
on squat,
set a
you could
deadlift
still
world
go on
record
and set
or-
a deadlift world record, which I don't know. It just
That's fine.
the-
That
the-
seems reasonable.
the sport is powerlifting.
Yeah.
Do all 3 lifts.
Yep.
Don't be so bad at one of them.
What
or
do you
call it so
think
bad.
about this is probably not so common in the IPF, but people in other federations going for world records. So they keep world records as a full meet world record, and they also keep a
single lift.
a single lift world record. Well, people say they're going for a world record squat, or maybe a deadlift is a better example. They want to do a world record deadlift in a full meet, and they go and bench or go and squat 200 pounds, go and bench 100 pounds, and then go try and pull their 890.
See, that always
deadlift.
brings up an interesting one too. Like,
Because that has happened before. There are people
yeah,
that
and
do
it
that.
makes sense. Like, yeah, they did what they're supposed to, but how
Yeah.
do you? I don't know how you police that unless
Yeah.
usually by the time someone's getting to a world record, they have a history, of meets. So do you look and say like, oh, you were at 50% here and 50% here, so you make the rule you have to be at least 75%.
Right.
Well, then okay, I'll go 76%.
Right.
Like I just it
Yeah,
gets hard to enforce.
That's almost like I mean, I don't know, and that's tricky too because some people might say there's no that's not wrong to do that. To some people they just don't see that as wrong, I think. But
Yeah. Or like let's say you have a a pec injury.
yeah.
Doesn't affect your deadlift for whatever reason, but you have a pec injury and you literally can't bench.
Right.
Like, but you have a potential of setting a deadlift record. Is
Yeah.
that record like now not valid because your bench was too
Right.
bad? So
Right.
I don't know how you go around.
Yeah, I've done a meet before where I've
Kind
gone
of took
into
a little bit of a token bench.
yeah because of that a shoulder injury, but
Like you wanted to compete.
right.
Your
And I-
shoulder wasn't working right.
Right.
You knew you just wanted to get out there, have fun.
So I went into the squat trying to do everything I could and the deadlift everything I could, but in bench I took one attempt and I just took it as something I knew that was easy. So I guess I've done that before.
Yeah, to me that is one of the biggest I don't know if you say moral, but I don't know. It almost does come into
It's like
morals of
integrity.
are you cheating
Yeah,
it or
yeah.
and where do you draw the line of forcing people to perform what you think
Yeah.
they should be performing? And that one could probably be you could probably argue that for a whole episode right there.
I think so.
So those were some of the bigger. I know we have a list of a few more here.
What about there was a couple I noticed. What about this is just goofy and I don't even know why it's up, but T-shirts being worn for all lifters on all lifts. So that they're talking about the deadlift, right? Because that's the one event where you can go
right
with
now, guys have the option in the IPF, USAPL, of not wearing
a
a
shirt,
shirt
on the
underneath
deadlift.
your singlet when you do deadlift. There's a suggested rule to just make it wear shirts across the board. And I don't know what the reasoning was for sure. You could argue that it's an equality thing because women are required to wear shirts all the time. Like, you're a woman in a sports bra, you can't do that for deadlift, which is kind of weird too. Does seem like a bit of a double standard. Like, you're covered up.
That's
like
true.
Your boobs aren't hanging
Yeah.
out. You have a sports bra on.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference?
Right.
So that one seems like, okay, yeah, if you're going to keep the shirt on or if you're going to have the shirt off and women want to take their shirt off and just wear their I guess that seems
Yeah.
fine to me.
Because what I was gonna say, and you just made me change my mind, is culturally, it's not acceptable for a woman to walk around with her nothing on her top, like completely
Yeah.
nude on top, and it is okay for a man, but like you said, you'd still be covered to
Yeah.
what is
Yeah, or
culturally
just
acceptable.
or if they really are afraid that women are just going to be going topless and things are going to be popping out, okay, and maybe it is a rule. It actually might be a rule that women are, I don't even know, are probably required to wear a sports bra.
I don't know.
It's probably some type of rule. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never entered as a woman.
I wonder if there probably are rules about what they can and can't wear.
Probably.
Sure.
I mean, there's rules for underwear, so that falls under undergarments. And then, like, I've seen some people argue, like, well, why should you have to wear a shirt at all? To me, it makes sense. It's totally a hygiene thing. Like, someone goes out squatting like 800 plus and they don't have a shirt on, and it just starts tearing back skin off.
No,
like, do we need to start
wearing a
taking
shirt.
time between meets? Like, you can say, okay, I don't care about germs at all, but is it fair for you to go out with some guy literally having skin hanging off the bar? Is that giving you the best? So now we have to start taking time to clean the bar between
Right.
like, that one makes no freaking sense at all.
No, I don't think it's advantageous to not wear a shirt when you squat anyways. Like, I think it helps.
It seems like you're giving, like, by that point you're usually probably sweaty.
Right.
So
right.
you're giving something up by having moisture involved. Like,
yes.
Yeah, and then same thing, like,
On the
when people
bench, laying
deadlift
on the bench.
Yeah, and every meet you go to, you'll see it. Like, someone will puke or their hand will tear or something. They got to clean up the bar, and
Yeah.
they have to stop. So I think the more you can do to stop things from slowing down, the better. That's why it just seems like, okay, shirts.
Yeah. But I know some people really like not wearing.
Oh,
their
they
shirt for
love
the
it. It's like
deadlift.
their one chance.
Deadlift's here.
The one chance at showing the physique.
Yeah. And
Which-
maybe in IPF that isn't as common of a.
Yeah, I think it's just goes to the thing of like, hey, I got a body, check me out. It's like, well, no one cares except you.
Well, and then I wonder if part of that is for IPF image of if they figure everyone wears a shirt, then they're not it's not like as much. They don't want it to be a freak show like some non-tested federations kind of do want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I don't really care on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
if they say everyone's got to wear shirts, whatever.
Yeah.
You're there to lift weights, not to. If you really want people to see you without your shirt that bad, you can do a physique show or something. I mean, that really has nothing to do with your results for the day.
What do you think about? I kind of was interested at this one, a 36-month, not 12-month bans for lifting in non-IPF. Oh, okay. So this isn't a drug ban. This is for
So this is like right now, if you're an IPF competitor, like not USAPL, but if you are an IPF competitor, competing at like national and world meets, and you go do a meet for another federation, right now you're banned for 12 months. And so probably the big one is like Dennis Cornelius.
Yep.
He wanted to do the US Open, some of those other ones. So he's been not doing USAPL meets and IPF meets for almost a year now, actually. Talking about extending that ban out to 36 months, so 3 years.
I don't like that. Now,
that
I was
seems
thinking
like,
it was increasing the length of time for drug failure, which I would be supportive of that.
I'm sure.
Because
I'm
if
all
it's
for
supposed to be drug tested and drug free, make them as long as.
Yep, and I wouldn't be against that, but
36
I don't
like
months
that.
for like, okay, you placed really good at nationals, and now you want to see if you can make some money at the U.S. Open, and now because of that you have to sit out for 3 years, which depending on where you're at in your career could be your glory years.
I would like there to not be a ban at all for that. Like, just drug test
it's
the person
really,
if you want.
I know it's really dumb, and I don't know.
I wish there wasn't a ban because it would be so much cooler. Then you might be able to talk.
Way more fun meets to watch throughout the year. Like,
Ray Williams might go do big dogs.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a win for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is, though. Is like, well, they're giving up ownership, like the exclusive deal with these people at that point if they do that.
Yeah,
So.
they've got him they've got Ray Williams, locked in because they know he loves it.
And I don't know if there's an Olympic tie into that part of it too, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it's just literally like, we don't want to give that up because we'd be losing these people.
Right.
One of the stranger ones, it seems like, is athletes may not display national flags during medal ceremonies. What I saw on that is they said sometimes on the podium when people stretch out with the flag, they're literally covering up the other people on the podium, and it's like kind of I don't know if it's a disrespectful or an annoying thing that, hey, we're all on the podium, but we can only see one of you. I think the idea was that flags can still be displayed, like, above the podium or around it. It's just like you can't be on the podium, like, waving your flag all over the place.
I don't know. I guess
it seems kind of dumb, but whatever.
How about the junior chain? I talked about that.
Totally in favor of that.
Yeah,
Because right now, a junior goes all the way up to the age of
23.
23, and bringing juniors down to 21, makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Like in
Who
every
thinks of
other
a
place in the world,
23-year-old as
I mean, a lot of places in the world, you're an adult at 18,
Right.
Most places, and then you have full rights, basically as an adult at 21, almost no matter what.
And at 23 years old, I don't think a lifter is at a competitive disadvantage to a 30-year-old.
You haven't been in the game as long,
Right.
but you're seeing right now, like USAPL, a lot of the top guys are
In
early
their
20s.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of the people breaking records are juniors breaking open world records.
Right.
So
I think 21's a way better fit, and
it makes way
yeah.
more sense. It just seems dumb when you're at a meet and someone's 23 and I'm going for the junior record. It's like you're 23 years old. Like
you graduated from college.
You literally have a job and are probably done at college now. Like you are in every sense of the word an adult.
And I also saw they mentioned on here and possibly abolishment of the sub-junior class.
And I'm kind of also in favor.
I'm in favor of that.
It's nice like having ways to recognize people, but God, between sub-junior, junior, masters, like masters 1, 2, 3, open, like we've talked about it before. There's just so many divisions to all this stuff. I'd rather just see them pushing more people into the open.
I agree.
Should we do before we get too far? Stat of the week.
We should do the open powerlifting stat of the week.
We got one of those.
We've got one. Let me pop that up here. Okay, this is the open powerlifting stat of the week on the Massenomics podcast. And we are looking at every male 220-pound competitor in the open powerlifting database. So that's all their meets, not just their best one. And we're going to look at the average lifts for those 220-pounders. Do you want to guess? Have you seen?
I have seen this.
Okay,
actually, I did want to talk to you about this even.
So in the 220-pound class, the average bench is 316 pounds, and I think that's pretty good. That's above my expectation. I would think.
I think that's pretty good. 220 isn't an enormous guy. 315 average, 3 plates.
Yeah. And I should say too, this is for all male 220 class, all federations, all meets. So it's not just the athlete's best meet; it's all meets that they've ever done worldwide, and this also includes the IPF classes. Even though we're talking 220, it's still people that weigh from the IPF that weighed in at body weights that would fit into the 220 class are included in this. So a 316-pound bench. I think that's
pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. If you're looking across the entire average.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of beginners, and this is including everyone's beginning meets. This is including every meet that everyone's done. So the average deadlift is 517 pounds. And there again, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like when you just figure you can go to any random meet, and that's going to be the average. Like, yeah, probably about right.
Because there's not a ton of Yuri Belkins running around bringing up the, like with 900, like to bring
for
up
every
the
one
average.
Yuri Belkin, there's 10,000 people doing like 400.
Yeah, the squat in reps is 491 pounds. That's pretty good too, I think. And the squat, raw squat in sleeves is 437 pounds.
That was the one that was the biggest surprise to me. That the in sleeves was 437 at 220.
Yeah.
To me, that seems like the lowest one out of all of them.
I agree.
And maybe it's just the meets we've done. I don't know, but that one seemed
kind of on the lower
on
side.
the low end, just a little over 4 plates.
The average total in sleeves is 1251, and the average total in total wrapped is 1360.
So it is surprising there seeing that
it's 100 pounds different, but just the squats themselves aren't.
I think it's more like the federations that you're getting involved with people.
Right, because the squats themselves, if you look just at the squats, there's a 50-ish pound difference, and the total there's 1,000 pounds difference.
100.
Sorry, 1,000, 100 pounds difference. But yeah, I think that's why it is, because it's the people you're getting doing those different federations, and like maybe the IPF class is bringing some of that down, the drug tested federations.
Yeah. So me looking at that, I can say, I'm above average.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Like
what was your first meet total?
My first meet I weighed 183.
Oh yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
So the first meet, the first meet that I ever did at like a 220 pound weight, like at that weight class, I had like a 1380 total.
Oh, so you're quite a ways above the.
And maybe that's why the surprise, like bench, I've that meet that I did that was pretty much like it was like 319 or something. So
Yeah.
right on the money there. Deadlift was 545.
Yep.
So just
Above.
above that. But then the squat was the big one where I made up the difference with like a 500-pound squat.
Right.
You know, like what was that 70? Because what was that 430 for that?
Yeah, 437.
So that was where the big difference is. But
for you, you know, you're a pretty good squatter.
that
so
is
like,
one of my better lifts.
Yeah. So, it might just seem to you, you know, to other people, they might be like, oh, that deadlift seems.
Yeah. But my takeaway from that was people on Instagram are totally distorting the view of what lifting is. Like,
that's so true.
like 700-pound deadlifts are so rare.
Yeah, but not to us when we're looking at these things.
You just
all
get
day
used
long.
to looking at Instagram, and especially like, you know, it's probably not as unusual to go to an untested federation and see a 700-pound deadlift.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go to like a local USAPL meet, you're probably not seeing a 700-pound deadlift.
Right.
Like, it's probably just not going to happen. At a national level, yeah, it will. And there'll be quite a few of them. But at a local meet, they're just not. That's just not a thing.
Right.
Same thing with like over 600-pound squats.
I mean, there's some people there doing it.
Yeah,
there's
there are some.
Yeah.
But it's not a thing you're seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
Instagram will make you think otherwise. Though.
Right. The bench is a good example of that too. The 316 pounds, like on the internet,
It's just everyone benches 4 plates for reps. Like,
but in reality, most people working out like a 3-plate bench is a significant goal.
oh yeah, and it's and if you can bench 3 plates, you are above so
Right.
much of the population.
We even just lifting in a gym where a lot of people are above average strength, you get a little brainwashed from that. Like you think about a 3-plate bench. I mean, every day you're in the gym, our gym, even just a small gym in South Dakota, you know, almost every day you're there, you'll see someone benching more than that for sets.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, repping it out, no problem. Like,
Right.
That's like a step on the warm-up ladder.
But funny story about this weekend, I trained somewhere else.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
out
you
of
were
town,
out of town.
and I'm so not used to going to gyms that aren't like our gym, and I just went to kind of like
just
basically
your,
like a YMCA. It wasn't a YMCA,
just
but
your local
right
locally
place
owned
with
gym.
treadmills and decent weight equipment and stuff. And I was doing sets on the bench with 315 pounds, and just like I said, if you lift at a powerlifting gym, that's just like
It's just like, hey, yep, that's just what you do.
yeah,
That's just
right,
what people
right,
do.
right. It's not exceptional in any way, and then like man in his 50s came up and he's like, whoa, what? You know, just like that thing that used to happen
That
when
you
we
forgot
went to
about.
a different and I was like,
yeah.
like I wasn't even
I
thinking
literally
about,
forgot
yeah.
about that until you said, yeah, because
That's the
get
thing.
that once in a
Yeah,
while.
and he'd come up and be like, holy cow, save some weights
Yeah,
for the
that's
rest
the
of us.
classic
You know?
one, yeah.
And he's like, just leave those little ones over there for me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that people always have to say that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
God, I totally forgot about that. It's so far removed.
And like I said, it was 315 pounds, which is not nothing. But when you're around people
In
that
our
do
gym,
that
it's
all the
almost
time,
like, are you almost done? I want to lift here now.
exactly. I did think that was funny though.
Yeah, that is good. Little reality check.
It was like, oh, that's right. People say all those things, and we just aren't around any of those people.
Old guys love
Yeah.
to see people just lifting weights.
But anyway, so I think that covers the stat of the week. So that's the open powerlifting stat of the week on the Massenomics podcast. Open powerlifting. I wonder what their numbers are up to in their database. Was it over 700,000 now that they've got?
That sounds
meets in?
about right.
Okay.
It's in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, several 100,000. I still haven't bought that open powerlifting shirt yet. If our weekly update on where I'm at on buying an open powerlifting shirt. But it sounded like I think maybe they have shirts stocked now.
I
even
think
soon.
so. Yeah, I think so.
So if you are interested in one, maybe you could beat me to it, or maybe a really loyal fan out there would want to take the step for me and buy it and send it.
Just send it to you. Like, just shut up about it already.
So yeah, thank you, Open Powerlifting, for another stat.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're kind of getting down, towards the end of the list and the end of the podcast here, but other things there's a few more, like they start to get into things that we don't even really care. Like one was like an inspection of venue.
Yeah.
To like quality check kind of like the spotting and loading teams. inspection venue, I'm sure that can include any number of things.
Yeah. What about the downward movement on the squat?
So that one's an interesting one because it's saying that just because you have a downward movement in the squat doesn't mean the lift is no good. Like you could potentially have a slight dip and still recover and be okay.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Lets you grind it out a little more. The downside I see to that is, and it's not the way I squat, but I've never made a downward movement and ever came back from it. And then it seems like it's opening up the door to people already like to complain about spotters at the IPF level. And now you're going to say like, oh yeah, that person can start to go down, but don't take the bar from them.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like you're really opening it up to like some weird subjectivity with, because now is someone going to protest it because you took it too soon from me? I was going to rebound out of that.
Right.
I don't know. That one seems a little.
Yeah, it's almost a safety issue potentially.
Yeah, so I wasn't a huge fan of that one. There's also something about deadlifting at the top of the lift. If you like lose your balance and still recover,
but finishes the lift erect.
Keyword erect there.
And lock out. There should be no reason for a disqualification. I guess I know that feeling, or I've seen people do that.
That one I
where
could
you
see maybe
lock
more
it
like,
out, but then you kind of like.
Yeah, and I also feel like that's one that you see more in other meets where there's like bar whip involved.
Yeah. I'm all right with the rule as
But-
it is. Like, just do it perfectly, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think
a lot
that's
of these just seem
another
like you're
area.
opening up to too many,
right?
too
much subjectivity.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think
That's probably the best. There are some really ridiculous ones,
and some things that probably no one will ever care about.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the most interesting ones.
Yeah.
What about our big lifts for the week?
Ooh.
People have been asking me how they can make it into their big lift segment.
Oh, have they?
Or they've said, "Hey, is this good enough to get me into big lifts?"
Have you set the criteria?
Well, first you have to be Larry Wheels. That's the easiest. That's at least the easiest way to get in.
Well, and speaking of that, maybe we should just say what Larry's been up to this week now. We'll
Right.
lead it right off with
Larry.
With Larry.
Larry hit. What did he do?
He did 500 on the bench, 500 for 11 reps. Why not?
Yeah.
You're Larry, just keep doing it, man.
That is pretty crazy.
That's yeah. How many people have probably ever done that?
I don't know. I bet it's pretty a short list.
I usually assume even if you are of that strength level, is 500 for 11 even a goal, like a goal
right,
even put
right.
on the board?
That's the thing. People aren't going for. I bet Leroy Walker's done it. I bet James Strickland could, but I don't know if he's done it. I bet Leroy Walker has done it.
I think there's people out there that can.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a lot of people that would.
No.
Just 'cause it seems like such a ridiculous lift to do.
Right.
Because he is literally like throwing that around the first couple of reps. It's like, damn, dude, that's 500 pounds. Like something gets off, you're in trouble in a hurry there.
Yeah, big time. He also did an incline bench. We didn't write it down in big lifts, but I think he did 500 for a set of 5 or 6 on.
Yeah, did
incline
we
bench.
talk about that last week or
Maybe
not?
we did.
I
too.
think that was because I think you did that a week or two ago.
Okay, you can never talk about Larry Wheels too much in big lifts.
Nope, it's always there.
I think this was a really interesting one. The Charles Mitchell III, and on Instagram, I think he's like Berserker or something is his name. I can't remember exactly, but they had America's Strongest Man, and they used the Stone of Steel over bar was one of the events, and the normal stone I think was weighed like 440 or something, 400 and something. But the Trump stone, they called it, was 500. So if you could we've done events like this at the Massenomics Strongman where the heavier stone trumps any weight, any number of reps at the lighter
stone.
So their Trump stone was 500 pounds of the Stone of Steel, which has never been done before by, apparently, never been done in competition, at least by anyone, maybe.
Well, and the Stone of Steel, too, for people that don't know a ton about the stones, a thing that people use to their advantage, and it makes sense, is they use tacky.
Yep.
And it's like, this isn't like a little bit of
it's not like syrup on your hand.
Tacky is like you touch something on it, like you're stuck to it.
Right.
So you'll watch any stone event,
natural
especially
stones,
natural stone, especially one where people can take their time, and you'll see their forearms, shirt, everything is covered in it.
Yep.
And it'll be on the back of their arms too, like they'll use it to reapply mid-event. And you'll see, like if you look, you can see that stuff like stretching, like it's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So people can use that to help them out with natural stones. Where the stone of steel gets interesting is that is not allowed. Tacky is not allowed. You are allowed a tacky towel.
Which is, someone has had one before and I've used it, and it is not comparable to tacky. It is. A tacky towel is something that they use in golf that a golfer will wipe on his hand so he has a better grip on his club.
So I mean, it's got to be crazy strong, right?
Right. It is completely in a different ballpark than actual tacky. And for reference, the world record, Brian Shaw, watched him
for natural stones.
Yeah, on a natural stone. We watched him break it both times. I think the first time it was 555, and then he chipped it, I would call it, and did like 565 the next year. It looked pretty easy, but that was 565 with plastered in tacky. I mean, we saw it was an hour
25,
process.
Yeah, he had 25 minutes to prep his own tacky.
To do the 565
outside of the half hour he had to size it up and look at it.
It did look easy, and I'd be surprised if he couldn't have done a 600
And that's
pound
the annoying
stone.
thing about it is like you have so much more there. Like
just make a 600 pound stone and do it.
Because now I'm like, okay, get Charles Mitchell III out there, and
he'll do that 565 too.
If assuming he can do it, he would gladly step on the stage, I'm sure, and take your $10,000 check that you just chip at every year.
Right.
So yeah, I'd love to see like a strongest stone competition. That'd be really cool.
That would be. And I think 3 of them got the Trump stone, the 500 pound stone of steel. 2 guys did it for 1 rep. And this
did it for 3.
Berserker did it for 3, 500 by 3. That seems pretty crazy. Like a lot of people that's probably an interesting bit in our big lift segment, is that I think a lot of people probably haven't seen that. So go check that out if you haven't. Pretty nuts.
And then last on the list here, we have Kaler Woolham and his 948 deadlift. So he flew to Russia to do the old WRP, RPF meet. Yeah. And so he got to compete in the under probably a little different set of rules than what your average deadlift meet is. You know, he had 4 attempts, the widest plates you will ever see, probably also the whippiest bar you'll ever get, which probably favors a deadlift. I mean, favors a deadlift as much as it can, and on top of that, probably a sumo lift even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, 948. He got on his 2nd attempt, right?
Yes. Because he tried 970 on his 3rd.
So he tried 970 on his 3rd and 4th. And I think it was his 3rd. He got a really quick down command.
Yeah.
And they called the lift no good. Like, man, I actually, for sure, depending on what meet you were in, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of not being at the home team.
Right. Being at Yuri Belkin's home team.
Yeah.
The man who has done 970 pounds. No coincidence, probably, that Kaler chose 970, I think. That is the heaviest deadlift by an American in a powerlifting meet of
Which
all time.
was a little surprising.
Yeah.
It just seems like, there'd be a bigger one somewhere, but no, I mean, you can't count in strongman because that's not a powerlifting meet.
Right. Steve Johnson's gone over 900. Chris Weiss has done 915.
Yep.
Jerry Pritchett has done 9 something, I think, in a powerlifting meet before. But 948, the biggest of all time by an American, and in the 220 pound weight class.
That's the thing.
What was Yuri lifting? I thought he was, because he saw him come up.
But I don't remember seeing any. Yeah, he had a singlet on and was walking around there, but I don't remember seeing any of his lifts.
Well, and one other update on last week's episode. Now that we're talking about this meet too, our over under bet was whether or not did you say 3 people would drop out between when we recorded that
for big dogs.
Yeah, for the big dogs 3 meet. Last week was our preview episode. You can check that out if you haven't. And the over-under was 3, and I think we decided that was probably a pretty good number, that it's probably going to be real close to that. And not even 3 days after we recorded that, the biggest big dog we find out is not competing, Andrei Milanichev. And why that is exactly, I've heard torn pec.
Sickness.
Yeah.
A few reasons.
Yeah.
But the weirdest part of it, though, is that he did a meet. I mean, he did this meet.
Yeah, right.
So.
And what Dan Bell's comment was, well, I get it. He's on his home turf. He doesn't have to travel. Maybe he doesn't feel 100% for big dogs, and he has a guaranteed payday at this meet. He'll just take that. But then Brandon Allen, I saw, he made the comment, well, that if you tore your pec, could you still be benching 500 and some pounds?
Yeah.
Like,
unless it's a very minor tear.
right.
That seems
So,
unusual.
yeah.
I guess I haven't torn a pec, but
No. But so there are if you had to make the bet now, over or under on the 3?
well, I think last time did we both say over?
I think so.
I mean, you got to stick with it.
Yeah.
Something else is going to happen.
Yeah. It's kind of the way it goes, especially if you count in meat injuries. To
There's
not allow them to
there's
fish.
got to be at least one
Yeah.
in-meat injury. Like,
Yeah.
just no way around that.
So that was our big lifts for the week, right?
That was it.
Big lifts. We'll see who can make it in big lifts next week. We'll see what Larry Wheels does again. There was the one other segment we've got there. Do we have time for that? I think I filled in a comment there. We call this our best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week. Emphasis on best, because they're really good comments.
Because it is the best.
And what was this one?
On the bench shirt. So we did a post this week, bench shirt, which I'm wearing.
Yep.
Get yourself one. If you haven't already, make sure you size up. They do run small.
Yeah.
That is not like it
Get a
runs
size-
a full size
yeah,
small. So
get
get
a
a size
size
bigger.
bigger.
But we did a classic Massenomics versus. I'm sure if you guys listen to this, you're familiar with Massenomics versus on Instagram. And we did the Massenomics bench shirt versus a bench shirt. And it was pretty dumb, like the Massenomics bench shirt is like $21.
Yeah.
A real bench shirt is $75 to $300.
Right.
Our bench shirt is raw. Another bench shirt is not raw.
What was
I
it?
can't even remember what the other.
The last one was chest hair.
Yeah. Our shirt does not show chest hair, at least without a little tailoring. But
Yeah.
the bench shirt does. A real bench shirt does show some chest hair.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the breakdown of it. Totally meant to be dumb. We're literally comparing two shirts in a totally non-serious way. So if you can't figure that out, you're already having issues. But,
Yeah.
there were some really interesting comments on there.
Yeah.
The best one being, "What's wrong with just lifting the weight normally?"
That's the comment. No other context to it or anything. What's wrong with just lifting the weight normally?
And I almost think that maybe that person thought that we were comparing two equipped bench shirts.
That's like whatever they thought. They certainly don't get Massenomics or Massenomics versus.
No,
like,
which is good that we're getting idiots
Yeah,
involved
yeah.
because that means you're reaching
getting out
farther
there.
places.
So that's a great comment. One funny comment on there that actually was good that I thought kind of made me laugh is someone goes, "Yeah, and to think neither of these are IPF approved." Like for raw lifting. It's like, yeah, I guess you really can't wear our bench shirt either.
Yeah, you got a point there.
If you want to get in best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week, just comment something just completely asinine on one of our posts, and
You'll probably
we can
win.
get you in there. Yeah.
There's a chance if it's too dumb though, we will know who you
Yeah,
are.
right. It can't be. You have to just really look dumb. It can't be obvious that you're
and you
trying
had to have
pull a
been
fast
laying
one.
low for a while because
Yeah.
if you made comments before, we
Yeah,
got you on
right,
the radar
right.
at this point.
Right. But I think that probably wraps us up, doesn't it?
I think so.
So you talked about the bench shirt, Tommy, probably our new hottest shirt in the store. Bench heavy, big pecs, cash checks, and do be worn. Go a size bigger than you're used to ordering, especially if you're comparing it to our lift shirt, which probably runs a little bit on the large size.
That is a bigger shirt than normal anyways. But yeah, it is a size smaller
It's
than
going to be
our regular
snugger
shirts.
in the shoulders, snugger in the arms. It'll show off the guns a little bit more. So definitely order a size bigger, and definitely just order one. And if you want to be safe, order both sizes, and you can have both.
And just keep them both.
Yeah, that's actually
One
what
will
you
be your
should do.
tight shirt, and one will be your just relaxing shirt.
Right. Lift shorts, we're out of just about every size. We got an order coming in, so maybe by the time you're listening to this, we've got those restocked. So if you've had your eye on fitness's most expensive shorts, we might have those back. Lift shirt and all the other lift products that you've come to love us by are all available in the store. Sign up for our newsletter when you're on our website. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put all the podcasts out on video, and I think we even caught the full video of this one. The battery didn't die.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah,
It was
I
just
don't
a
think
false alarm?
Yeah, I don't.
This one right
Yeah,
now. Oh,
no,
yeah,
this
yeah.
one, yes.
Yeah.
No, the prior two we did lose
Yeah.
video towards then, but I think maybe we got that corrected. So subscribe on YouTube to watch the full video version of the podcast. Like us on Instagram. what's your Instagram if they want to follow you on
You
Instagram?
can find me at tomahawk_D.
And follow the official Massenomics Instagram at Massenomics. That's it.
See ya.
Later.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.